Welcome to Woodge's out-the-box system. Here you can get control of your company. You can see the numbers you need to see to make the decisions. You can make more profit, you can delegate, and you can let everybody in your company know exactly what they need to do, when, to make your plan happen. So let's take a look. We'll begin at the end and we'll look at the financials. So throughout the system we can track stats, and that can be anything we want, but out of the box it's going to tell you your inquiries, your quotes, the conversion of that, how much you're manufacturing, that's massively key, what you're putting into the workshop, what's coming out of the workshop, cost of materials, labour, what your GP is, what your overheads are, and what your net profit is. But that's not just in the past. Most people run their business, they get their numbers from the accountant. At best, you get the figures at the end of the month or sometime after the month, and you work out what went wrong. But you're not able to change what's happened in the past. What Woodge allows you to do is to predict going forward. So Woodge will show you, as in here, in March, this is what, based on your schedule and all of your orders, this is what you're going to generate in terms of revenue. You'll then know what your materials are, your labour costs are. So you can see before you even start the month, so we're on the first of the month, but already we can see that if everything happens and everybody does what's on the plan, this is what we're going to generate, and this is the profit. If you're happy with that, you can roll that out to your team. If that doesn't work, or a big project moves out and that then recalculates and reduces, you can immediately make changes. This is the way you can make sure that you're hitting your targets and making your net profit. So you're not just making pie in the sky predictions at the beginning of the year and wondering why you never hit them. This allows you to hit them every single month, and the big thing is that based on this plan and the schedule, this then breaks it down into basically a to-do list for everybody in your company. This is what you need to do every day. So on day 1, day 2 of the month, you know whether you're ahead or behind, and you've got that schedule. And it means you don't have to go into the workshop and work around and ask lots of questions and find out where you are on each project. You can just see it in one place, and you know immediately whether you're ahead or behind. So, how does that work? Well, we split our projects up, and if we look into the processes, and again, when we set the system up, we can adapt the processes to fit, but the processes that you want to track through the workshop are then given a percentage weighting, and therefore that will take the value of your project, that will split that up, and that will say when you've assembled those, that's 6% of the value of your project. So, like you would do normally at the end of the year, you would do a work in progress. You go around your workshop and say, well, we're 25% through that job, we're 50% through that job, and you'd send those numbers off to your accountant. This does it every single day, so you know exactly the work you've done. So not only are you tracking what's gone out the door, but if you've done 20% of a new project, you can actually claim that revenue, and that is work and money coming into the pot to pay for your overheads. And the more you can do with those fixed costs, which are your overheads, the more profit you can make. So Woodge is £1,000 a month. For the out of the box, Woodge is £1,000 a month for the out of the box system. But as long as you're turning over 400-500 grand plus, Woodge will pay for itself, because being able to schedule, being able to marry the production with the finance and get the finance to drive everything that's happening means that you will increase your net profit, you will increase your gross profit, and you will more than recoup that money. Most people, it's 4 or 5 times ROI. So £1,000 you're spending, you're actually making £5,000, £6,000, £7,000 more in profit every month. So let's look into the catalogue. With the out-the-box system, we're not spending hours trying to detail your catalogues, all of your products and all the parts and the components. We can do that, that's the full system, but actually a lot of people are really bespoke, and therefore it's very complicated, and a lot of people have had very bad experiences of trying to put their very bespoke products into a system. We don't need to do that in Woodge. All we need to do, let's look at some furniture, is we've got all the processes linked down. And therefore we're taking all of the furniture on a project, and we're just breaking it down into bite-sized chunks. We're scheduling that, and we're mapping that out into the workshop. So if we wanted to just do a new order, we can select our client, Bob Bobbington at this point, and in for that client, we've got all of their contacts, we've got all of their addresses, we've got the client data that we're tracking. We've got the client data that we're tracking. So when we started the project with Bob, we were asking all of these questions. So again, you're delegating to your team. You're not having some people asking the right questions, others not. It's all detailed through in one system, and it's just a roadmap. So people pick up the system and they just know the questions they need to ask. They're going to give us the information we need to be able to make the decisions and to be able to do the design and to be able to do the project. And again, you can adapt these if you want, but out of the box, it comes with everything that you need. If you're a joiner, it comes with all the joinery questions. If you're doing kitchens, it comes with all the kitchen questions. So it's very focused and very just works out of the box. And the beauty of this is you've got all the information for a client, for a project in one place. That might be files, that might be a quote, or it might be a drawing. It might be a sketch that the client or you've done for the client. Everything can come in here, so everybody's got one place to go to see it. It could also be tasks. So throughout the system, not only are we mapping the processes within the workshop, we're mapping the processes within your office. So sending a quote, chasing that quote up, getting the deposit, chasing down the final details, right the way through to installation, your fitters, when should it be? When should the worktops be fitted? All of these tasks come through into the project management of Woodge, and therefore you can delegate it, because anything that you need to delegate, it goes as a task on the system, it gets assigned to somebody, it gets a date, and it gets done, and that's the difference. So going back to our project, we're going to add some generic furniture, because actually most people for a client don't list all of that furniture. They're just going to say bespoke kitchen furniture as per project. We're going to give it a value. So at this point, we've sold this 45,000. And now this is going to spread that through all of these processes. But actually on this one, it's not got any frames. So what we're going to do is we're just going to turn off the frames. So this is the way you can do really bespoke work straight out the box with the system, because we've just switched that off. It won't calculate that, and it will assign the time and the value of those frames that would have been there across the rest of the project. So you're still tracking all of the amount, you're still tracking all the processes, but just the processes that are relevant for this project. So we're going to add that. So this is starting off as an inquiry. What we're now going to do, and again, because it's come into an inquiry, it's generated the tasks. And so it's going to take us through the different tasks as we go through the process. And again, you can amend those tasks. So in the back, the tasks are all here and they're all linked. And they're all linked. So a lot of the tasks, they won't show until the previous task is done. So you don't just get this whole long list of stuff, because you don't need to chase a quote until you've sent a quote. Therefore, it won't do that. And again, you can assign it to people specifically, or you can assign it to the salesperson. So you can say this salesperson is handling this project, therefore all of the sales tasks will go to that person. So out of the box, it just works, but it's very flexible and very adaptable. It's not just, that's it, what you get. So if we then move this project into order placed, so the client has now paid their deposit, that's come through, we're going to give ourselves a delivery date. They want it in April. Let's say they want it at the end of April. So every time you change the delivery date, it will ask you a reason. That's so that you can track that data and you can say, right, why are jobs slipping? Why are they being delayed? And what can we do about it? So this is just the initial date. At the moment, we don't need it to do the schedule because we haven't worked out when we're going to start the project yet, but we're just setting the delivery date. So we don't need that at the moment. We're going to process that order. We're going to put it into technical. We're going to get everything ready. We're then going to put it into manufacture. Now at this point, it's going to show up in our schedule because it's in manufacture. It's got a delivery date, but we haven't decided when to start it. So it's worked out all of the processes that need to happen, but at the moment it doesn't know when those should happen. So again, you can just give it a start date here, or we can go into the schedule. We're going to schedule the production. We're going to schedule the production, and here, this is where we can capacity plan, but we're capacity planning based on the finances, because what we know is we know how much work we need to do on a week, on a day basis to hit our numbers. Therefore, here it is, our new project is in here. Because we haven't given it a start date yet, it's not showing in. We're then going to say, right, we're going to bring it in and we're going to start it then. That will then total up the amount of money's worth of work that we're putting in, and it will give us a total. So we're capacity planning, and we're planning the schedule from a finance point of view. Because what so many people do is they obsess with the details and how long this process will take and how long that process will take. And they want to go down to the workshop and they want to time things. And maybe if we just change this or change that, it will add. Actually, if you schedule at a high level from the finances and say, what do we need to produce in our workshop to hit the numbers and the profits that we want, then map that out. This will then give the workshop parameters to work within. And actually, the people in the workshop, your workshop manager, your team leaders and the people in there, they know how to speed things up. They do those jobs all day, every day. And actually, if you give them a time frame to do it in, they will find a way to do it, and they will come back to you if it's not possible. So rather than you having to spend all of your time and your hours in the workshop trying to refine it and trying to make it quicker, actually, you're just making decisions based on finance, and then you're putting it into the workshop and leaving your workshop team to do those refinements, to make processes quicker, to fit within the productivity and the schedule that you're asking for. So now that we've put that into here, that's been scheduled. It's now decided all the dates. So if we want to see a schedule, we can see when everything needs to happen on this project. And so immediately, whether it's in the office as an office task or whether it's in the workshop, everybody knows at each process what they need to do, and you can see in one go whether we're late or whether we're behind. So if any of these are late, they get an exclamation mark on it and it will drag it through. So we're now down into the workshop and the people making the doors, they go onto their schedule. That's all they see. There's nothing to do at this point. Here we are. In this week, they need to make the doors for this kitchen, for this kitchen, for this kitchen. They're clicking in it, and this can be on a tablet. They can be scanning it. They're going to say who they are. And they can either click down the individual ones, if that's the way you've put your products in, or you can just say, I've done all of this, and I've completed it. So then, because this is cloud-based, from anywhere in the world, you can see that that task has been done, and that process has been done on that order. So you're planning from a very high level based on finance, and that's meaning you're making your profits, but that is zooming straight in, and it is giving the people on the shop floor in your office the to-do list of what needs to happen, and then it's giving you the information, your workshop manager the information as to what's going on. So rather than your workshop manager trying to run around keeping on top of everything, they just can have a dashboard and see where they are with everything. And everybody has a dashboard themselves, so when they log in, it knows who you are, and it will give you all of the tasks that you need to do. It can email you on a daily basis to say, here's your outstanding tasks. It's taking the complication out of it. It's simplifying it, because when you simplify processes and when you simplify your business, it's scalable. And what Woodge does is it allows you to take your business that you've grown to a certain point and scale it. And the way it scales it is it chops it down into bite-sized chunks and just gives you the information you need to be able to make the high-level decisions. So come and join us on the journey. Come and make more profit. Come and simplify your business. Come and be able to delegate and be able to grow and scale your business. Thank you.